Celebrities that I work with would include Joy Reid, Celeb O'Brien, Morris Chestnut, Clifton Powell, Lala Anthony, Romney Malcolm.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Rooting for Everybody Black, your visual index for all things Black excellence. I'm your host, Ashlee B, and today I have the pleasure of sitting down with a highly acclaimed fashion stylist, renowned for her innovative approach to celebrity styling. Ladies and gentlemen, Danielle Marshall. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here.
I have to ask, you have the shirt on that says Fashion Visionary. I need to know, did you grow up loving clothes or was this something that you developed over time?
Definitely grew up loving clothes. As a pastor's kid, as you probably know in church, my parents, they will always dress their kids in, the frilly socks and the patent leather shoes. And I was one, even at I would say 6, 7 years old, wanted to pick my own clothes out. And I love bright colors, mix and matching. So that's something that I love, definitely from birth. I definitely believe I got it from my dad because he would say he's the original style marshal. I say it everywhere. He's like, just don't forget where you get it from. I'm like, I will take you everywhere, Dad. But yes, ever since I was younger.
I love that. Mm-hmm. And when would you say that you began taking styling seriously?
That's a great question. I would say not until I moved to New York. I would say when I started at Bloomingdale's in Maryland, Virginia, I didn't realize the need for styling. I didn't know that, you could make a career out of fashion at that time. I was just being me and just loving people and loving fashion. I just was putting outfits together. I really didn't take it serious until I moved out here on my own and saw the need, and then being around in a fashion industry and being in New York. I mean, those were one of the fashion hubs. I saw how people were doing it, and that's why I need to be out here in the first place. So that's when I took it seriously, when I came to Bloomingdale's White Plains, and then especially when I left there and went to Saks Fifth Avenue.
So you saying New York being a fashion hub, we all know that, right? We got New York Fashion Week, everyone comes here for that moment. Mm-hmm. What was it like breaking into the fashion industry, and how did you do it?
Oh, tough, always tough. One, because it's highly saturated. Two, because I'm a newbie, new kid on the block. So obviously when you have a passion for something, you can't despise small beginnings, and those small beginnings include working for free. So I did that a lot and have a problem with that. But of course, when you live in New York, you're by yourself. It can become difficult. So just having to manage different occupations at that time. I mean, I was babysitting, I was working in retail, doing photo shoots, some paid, some not. So I believe that, God definitely ordered my steps. And when I started I went to F.I.T, which I'm sure we'll talk about, I met people. And I'm an outgoing person, so I love going to networking events and just meeting new people, because you never know what a conversation will lead to and how they remember you. And that's how I believe I broke out, because, I was a people person. And not only do I care about the craft, but I care about the person I'm talking to and getting to know. So people remember that. People remember if you're engaged with them in a conversation, or if you're just there to just be there, So I believe that's how it started for me.
And people always remember how you treat them.
Yes.
Right? So that's key. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about your very first celebrity client. Who was it? Mm-hmm. And what was it like meeting that person for the first time?
Oh, I love to tell this story. I think you heard this before at the conference, but he was not my client, but I ended up assisting Jay Bolin with Morris Chestnut. He could not be here in New York, and so he had basically put a post out on Instagram, and friends were tagging me Danielle, he needs somebody in New York. And so everybody, I didn't see it. It was a Saturday morning. I was asleep. Finally, I woke up and got, all these messages, and they're check out Jay Bolin's Instagram. And so I had already spoken to him before, had his number. And so I just connected with him again. And I was like, hey, I'm here if you need me. So it was Morris Chestnut, guys. Definitely a childhood crush, still a crush.
He's fine.
Oh, he's so fine. I just posted something. He had styled him the other day, and I was just like, whoo, Lord, I got to meet this guy. But basically, so it was Morris Chestnut, and he was going to be on The View. And so again, Jay Bolin couldn't be here. He trusted me. I never worked with Jay Bolin before. So that already was favor from God to trust me to, go pick out the rest of the pieces that he needed. I met him at the hotel, and, that was an amazing, I was nervous. I was excited. I was thanking God the whole way. I'm just how could this be? Where did this come from? And it's in that moment of walking to his hotel room, I'm just all of this free stuff paid off. All of this working and serving other people paid off. And that was just my first time, and just to look back then to where I am now and where I have way more to go, it's just all a testament of, just not giving up on your dreams and continuing to like follow the path of God. But it was an amazing experience. I'm so glad he was the first one because he's been someone that I followed for a long time.
Amen. So how long have you been in the industry?
Okay, so I would say about 12 years on my own, with my own business, about 10.
Okay, so within the past 10 to 12 years, what was your most memorable gig and why?
Ooh, wow. Let me not take too long to answer this. Let me see, my most memorable gig. Okay, because we have I also do something where it's called talent escorting. So I've been able to be at the Grammy Awards and BET Awards for talent escorting purposes, but I networked and kind of got to work with some wardrobe people there. I would say on my own, with my own business, I would say since I met Joy Reid, definitely since I met Joy Reid. I mean, we just recently was able to.
And for people who don't know, who is Joy Reid?
Joy Reid is a talented MSNBC journalist with her own show on Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. So I have the honor and privilege, humbled to work with her weekly. And then now also outside of the show, she's just written a book. So she's been kind of everywhere doing her book tour. So I would say right now, and maybe because it just happened, was being on the Apollo stage and dressing her for that, meeting Rachel Maddow, meeting Reverend Al Sharpton literally on Saturday. I will never forget that. It was super epic, even just like rubbing my hands on the, it's just, and to have the history of it and for it to almost turn 90 years old. I would say, I'm sure there's others, but right now, maybe because it was just so fresh, I would say the Apollo.
So the fashion industry is ever changing, right? Styles and trends, they come, they go. How do you as a celebrity stylist stay on track and up to date with these ever changing things? Like, what do you do?
Honestly, I research a lot. I don't do a lot of magazine reading, but I'm on the internet a lot. And I'm always like looking at the fashion in Paris and Bolin because they're kind of like ahead of us all the time. So that kind of keeps me grounded. But then also too, it's just kind of like knowing what looks good, and it's just a gift of God's given me as far as like just an eye for detail and knowing what's going to like pan out. I can't even explain it, but
you just got it.
I'm not, please say that humbly, all because of the Lord, let me tell you. But but outside of that, to be honest, just on a natural level, I definitely look outside of, fashion weeks that come up, being able to go. And then just sometimes like going to the stores and boutiques and like trying on clothes and things like that. And just knowing what's going to work for the people that I work for. So
you've been thinking God a lot.
Oh yeah.
There's no secret that God is present in your life and you are a follower of him. Yes. So how does your faith intertwine into your career?
Oh, like I can't do anything without him. I don't care what platform I'm on, whether, you're a believer or not, I'm going to tell the truth wherever I go because I don't have any other choice, period. So it's deeply involved. It's deeply involved when I meet clients for the first time. I definitely pray about each person that comes in my life because we're not supposed to help everybody. You're not supposed to work with everybody. So, and sometimes, because I'm connected to the Lord, those people will fade off if they're not for me, we're not supposed to work together. But I include him in the process because at the end of the day, my goal as I'm serving them is to elevate their look, not just from where they are to where they're going. And only the Lord knows where they're going and where he's sending them and what's going to happen next. So he is definitely my partner. I literally can't. And then also the fact that you heard my testimony, like I have a disease. Well, I don't have a disease. I don't claim it, but my dad is blind. And it's a hereditary disease called RP, retinitis pigmentosa. And as the doctor told my parents not to have me because they were afraid I was going to get it. Wow. So I do have it more so in my left eye. So honestly, if I close my right eye right now, I could not even see your face, even with glasses. So I know for a fact that I have an eye for detail and I have a gift for this thing. He's allowed me to do this it's because of him. Like if I did not have him and him keeping my sight, my dad is always like, how's your eyes? You know, did you go to the eye doctor? He's always checking on that because as you get older, it tends to get, you know, and I've seen changes as I've gotten older and when I drive at night and things like that. But I'm not worried because I know this is what something God has blessed me with. He's given me. And I know this is a way of me being in the marketplace. This is a marketplace ministry and I have to be able to see to do it.
And I'm a firm believer that God would not put you through anything that he did not think that you could handle. So It's amazing that you not let your disability or your disease, if you have it, overtake your life and, dictate things. So mentors are, usually a big part in people's lives when they're just getting started in any industry.
Yes.
Who would you say your mentors are and what's something that they've taught you that has stuck with you?
I would say I didn't have, in the fashion industry, I didn't have any direct ones. They were more so, people I admired, one being June Ambrose, one being obviously Jay Bolin, being able to work with him sometimes. I work with him in the fashion show sometimes, or one time before. June Ambrose, I met her at Saks when I worked at Saks. So she would come in all the time for her clients. She would purchase from me, things like that. So watching them from afar and just their resilience. And, I love how Jay Bolin, he's just like me. And I know that like I would use my platforms to do the same thing. He constantly, thanks the Lord, he constantly is transparent, like how he went from here to here and how he had nothing, but then look, so I have learned from them resilience and, continue to follow the pattern of your dreams and not giving up. As far as spiritual mentor, obviously my parents have always been like the people that I look up to, who have the drive. I mean, my dad is at 90. He turned 90 in January. Wow. And he's still pastoring. He's still preaching. He's still giving eulogies. He's still visiting people in the hospital. He's still praying and doing Bible study. So it's just like, did I really need anybody on the outside? Yeah, sure. But I had it in my home with both of my parents. Up until my mom got early dementia, she taught me a lot as far as character, integrity, those things that clothes don't cover. You can't hide bad character behind good clothes. Exactly. So I learned that from her. I've seen that in Jay Bolin. I've seen that in June Ambrose. And then thank God I have a spiritual mentor now, Bishop Monique Ross, who has taught me a lot about the business aspect and just, she's definitely enhanced, my knowledge and insight of where I'm going. Like to be able to be under a leadership that sees your future even more than you. Like, you have the dreams and things like that, but somebody can speak to it and push you and activate you in the gifts that you need for the future.
Makes sense. Awesome. That's definitely something that you should take with you.
Yes.
So I was looking on your social media and I came across a couple of posts that mentioned Marshall Academy.
Yes.
What is that and how did that idea spark?
I would say for my first F.I.T class, it started last January. And that first class, I realized that, first of all, it's only 3 weeks. And there's three days in the 3 weeks, which is 3 hours. 3 days, 3 hours, 3 weeks only.
It's a lot to cover.
It's a lot to cover in that time. And they're always wanting more. So I'm like, why not start some classes, individual classes, one-on-one classes, virtual classes, in-person classes, for the people that want to know more. I mean, my students will tell you to this day, like they've never had a teacher like that would just give their time and that would be so accessible. So I thought that like it would just give us more time to like do hands-on training. I actually have to bring it back up for the spring and summer because it was just great last year. I gave them assignments. We're going around the store in Nordstrom's flagship in the city and they're just picking out clothes and, it was just amazing just to see like, what we could have done if we had a longer period of time at F.I.T. So that's where it really sparked. And, it's been a blessing, even the Zoom classes, the virtual classes, they get to like pick my brain. I wish I could do that. I wish I had that without paying hundreds of dollars for a boot camp. You know what I mean? Just a little hourly rate to spend time with that one teacher. So what I did not have, I wanted to get.
Absolutely. And so it seems like you're pouring into the next generation of future stylists, and that's important.
Absolutely.
So you clearly have fashion visionary, a creative vision. So I want to talk to you about balance, right? So how do you balance expressing your own creative vision while meeting client expectations? For example, if you have a client and they've seen another celebrity dress a certain way, and maybe they want to adapt that style, right? But it doesn't really flatter them, right? How do you maneuver a situation like that?
Very good. They asked me that in F.I.T. too. Well, I'm super transparent, and I think the main part is to develop trust. So then you can say whatever you want, and not in a crazy way. So developing the trust, and then I'm honest. Come with the knowledge. Come with like, okay, you are a pear shape. You cannot wear what an hourglass shape could wear. Now we can work around. It's just honest, I had told one client, I did her closet, and I said, remind me of your age. And I think she said she was like 47. I was like, please don't take this the wrong way. But I know she trusts me, so I could say this. And I was like, you dress like you're 60 years old. And she's just like, wow. And it was a light bulb for her, and I wasn't nasty. I said it, as kind or whatever as I could, but I was just like, we can do better for you, and she's like, well, how do I do that? I said, well, let's go shopping. Let me do a mood board for you and show you where you can be, show you your potential. Let me show you your potential, so I'll say things like that. But I will come with knowledge, and I'll come with like a plan, not just be like, you look crazy, or no, that's not you. I have to, you have to kind of be gentle. Absolutely. Yeah. But develop the trust first. I would never say that in my first consultation. No, I'll go with the flow and be like, okay.
That's true. Okay,
sure. And then give the mood board that has all these other options like, I'm telling you, I always get that, Ashlee. I would never have picked that out for myself. I would never have worn that color before. Yeah. I get that all the time, but I love it. And now I wear it all the time. And now I just got to buy more, or I want like more of the same thing, Yeah. So again, that's part of the gift.
It's giving a person who's not familiar in that industry, if you will,
yes,
a taste of what they should look like. I think mood boards are very helpful.
Very.
So walk me through the process of styling someone for a red carpet or a photo shoot. Like from start to finish, what is that like?
Okay, so it's the 30-minute consultation. It's free. After that, the next step is them filling out my client questionnaire. Mm-hmm. And then always I tell my students, get that deposit before you do any work, before you snag a picture off of Pinterest, get your deposit.
Hey, because time is money.
Oh, yes.
Time is money.
It is. It really is. And know your worth, mm-hmm, and honor that, and have the client honor your worth. And then after that, I develop their mood board. I send it out to them. They say yes, they say no, they say I love, maybe something else. I've gotten before, it was like, I don't like anything. Okay, let's do this. And then you will get that when you're first meeting.
But in a situation like that, right? Because you've already spent time putting something together. Like, what if they say that they want something and you spend that time to find the stuff and put it together, and then you present it to them and they're like, hey, I'm not feeling this. Mm-hmm. Your time has been wasted in a sense. Like, how do you deal with that?
To me, it's not wasted because they still pay for it.
Okay, fair.
But I let them know this is the hourly,
So they would have to pay more to get a different.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then time is not wasted then.
No, exactly. Because it's almost like a graphic designer. They give you like 3 edits. After that, you want to change the whole thing, you paying again. So it's up to you. I try to normally once I do a lot of research before I even start. Like with me, I go into social media. I look them if they have a website. I try to see where they are, but then see where they can go. And this is when I invite, I ask the Lord, okay, what should I do for them? Because I've had clients say, I never wear pink. I never wear bright. I'm only black, white, and gray.
Okay. You need some color in your life.
Yes. But by the time we're done, they're like, I love it. I got so many compliments. Thank you so much. So there are some people that they will test you, or they're a little hard. But this is what I've done this. This is part of that first hour. But if this is you're not satisfied. Now, the only time that I will say, you know what, I'm just going to do this on my own is if it's like they find something. But even in that, it's like I still had to find your shoes, your jewelry, and things like that. So as far as red carpets, that's I need to find out if they're going to purchase, if they're going to rent, or if we're going to pull from a showroom. Same thing for photo shoots.
I want to know, how do you pull from a showroom? Like, how do you get access to that?
Building relationships. And I used to say, how do I get in? For now, it's building relationships based on your clientele. Because honestly, because of working for Joy Reid, working for Celeb O'Brien, working for different even events, if the client is not a celebrity, if I'm going to, I don't know, the Met Gala, showrooms will let you in depending on what the event is or who the person is. So I've been able to develop relationships due to my current clients.
So you go to the showroom, they let you in, you see something that you like. Do you have to put down a deposit? You have to sign a contract?
You definitely have to sign. They have a whole paperwork system. Some of them showrooms are rentals only.
Okay.
So, but then other ones will let you come and pull. So the designers will get their, they will get publicized or whatever. And then you fill out. And then after that, it's just, you have a rental time. So 3-5 days a week. But by the time you are connected, they're just not keep it, but they trust you. So for instance, I did a reality show last year called Chasing the Dream. Now, they didn't really know the client, but they knew that this show was going to be on NBC. So they see what I mean? Like, depending on, you use whatever is going to get you in. And so, yeah, they allow me to pull for her, jewelry, shoes, clothing, and then we would give credit to the designers.
In the caption or wherever. Okay.
Or tagging, whatever.
Nice. Okay, so how do you approach creating unique looks for each client, right? So each client that you have, even though they may be similar in their style, like, how do you make them different, right? You just... For example, you just dressed Joy Reid in a nice jumpsuit, but then you got another client who also wants a jumpsuit, but it's so close to each other.
I see what you're saying.
How do you maneuver that?
What makes it easy to make it unique is because of the people. Okay. Like Joy Reid's personality, the other person's personality. I know probably Joy Reid can carry something that maybe the other person cannot. So even if it's a same style, it really depends on the personality and who they are. Because there's sometimes, like, of course, we pick something out for Joy Reid. She cannot wear it on NBC because it's too much. Or even down to the earrings. I was like, oh, what these earrings? Oh, it's too much. Or the pattern, she can wear patterns, but there's certain patterns like stripes that were moire in the camera. So, it just depends on personality and the reason, like, what are we dressing them for? And that really makes the difference, uniquely, because even between her and Celeb, they're different. So it just depends on who they are.
All right, so let's touch base on your F.I.T journey. You're an alum,
yes.
And you're currently teaching a class there.
Yes.
What was it like teaching that first class, and how did you get the opportunity?
I'm telling you, I would say most of my career, this is another blessing from God. So I've been referred a lot, word of mouth a lot. So I got that from a teacher he's now a teacher. I believe we were in a class together. That's how we met. Again, remember we were talking about the beginning? Conversation, getting to know people, whatever. You never know. Please hear me. You never know who's watching you, not just on social media, but in person. So we were friends on Facebook. I forgot we were friends on Facebook. He reached out to me, messaged me on Facebook, and was just like, I recommended you. They need a teacher for this. Aww. Yes. And it was a career move, clearly, like just from God, a career blessing from God. So I was just like, absolutely, yes. Where do I sign up? Had the Zoom meeting and I was in. That was the end of 2022. So, and you were saying what the first class was like. It was so exciting. I was nervous because I'm just like, this is F.I.T. This is my first time.
Have you taught before?
No, not fashion, but just, and it's crazy because I have an education degree. I went to Johns Hopkins and I was doing that while working at Bloomingdale's. Wow. So working at Bloomingdale's part-time. So the education piece ended up, working out for me. But it was so exciting. Oh my gosh, super exciting to be there. I told them the story about how I was you guys before. So you never know what your future holds. And just sitting there and being able to pour out what I've learned and my journey. It was just so fulfilling. I don't think I've been this fulfilled. And like you said, pouring back into people and of all nationalities, yes, I love my Black people, just be able to fill the empty jars of whoever is there to listen. Exactly. So it was definitely a blessing. I was nervous, but it was exciting. After it was over, I was like, whoo, that was amazing. That was great. Thank you, God. I know why you did this. I was told, my spiritual mentor was told that I was going to start like coming from like behind the stages, behind the scenes to like forefront, and being more of executive position and being more like teaching and mentoring and sending out. So that's another reason why the Star Marshall Academy had came about too, which, you know, I'm still having to work on.
And it's going to come together. It's going to come together. Are there any celebrities that you want to work with that you haven't yet?
Absolutely.
Like who's your top 5?
Okay, top 5, definitely Tamar Braxton. Absolutely love her. Not to say she needs one, because she has an amazing one, but I just love her. That's my best friend in my head. So she is my BFF. So Tamar Braxton, I would love to work with Beyonce. I had dreams about her. So I don't know, because she has an amazing team too. I would love to work with, well, that's another part. I don't know if we're getting to the design part, but I would love to maybe, if not directly, like Oprah Gayle. Yeah, I would love to work with her. Would love to work with just some of more TV and, you know, primetime TV. Nice. Like I love Tamara Hall, but she has an amazing
stylist already. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
She's always dressed to the T.
Oh, always. So yes.
All right. So with my series, whoever watches, they can expect advice, right? So what's advice that you can give to aspiring celebrity stylists looking to break into the industry? If you could tell them one thing.
Okay, I would say it's a lot I could say, but I would say be true to you, because there's a lot of us out there. Do not compare. Do not allow social media to, you know, change you. Be unique in who you are. And honestly, that's what's going to get people to remember your name when you're not in the room, to share your name when you're not in the room, because you're being yourself. People want authenticity and then transparency. So be uniquely you and do not change for anyone and do not compare. I have done that before. Sometimes I still do, because it's just natural. So I would have to take a social media break, because it's just like, oh, and even with the things that I've done, I'm like, oh, I wish I could. No. So don't compare and just be uniquely you.
Everyone has their own journey.
Yes.
And just tunnel vision, focus on yourself, basically, right?
Yes. Tunnel vision and focus on yourself. Yes.
Well, is there anything else you want to add?
No, this was amazing and great. You can contact me on Instagram.
Oh, wow.
I am the Star Marshall.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here, Danielle.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It was so great.
I appreciate you.
You too.
High five.